Good evening and welcome everybody to another edition of the Music and Mixing Show. I'm your host, DJ Michael Joseph. Thank you for joining in. If this is your first time, and I know we do have someone here who is joining the live stream for the first time, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining in. We usually take a couple minutes here at the beginning, welcome everybody in, do some shout outs of people in the chat where they're from, because we get a lot of people international on here, and I always like doing shout outs for them. So we're going to do that for a couple minutes, and then we're going to get into some virtual DJ news stuff, and then take questions from you guys for the rest of the night. So, all right, starting shout outs. Script Guru, what's going on? How are you? Fly Robin, hello Robin, how are you? Thank you for joining in. Marcus, thank you for joining in. Mikey Mike, thank you for joining in. Stefan, what's going on? Gus, hello. Todd is Steep, hello. And that's everybody who said hello so far. So if you're watching tonight, you've maybe never said hello, or you're watching from somewhere other than, like, you know, local, give me a shout out. I definitely give you a shout out and where you're from and all that kind of stuff. Tonight is a virtual DJ question night, and I've got two things I'm going to show you that they've recently added on virtual DJ that I think you're going to like, and then we're just going to take questions from you guys for the rest of the night. In case you guys missed it, I do a Monday night show with John Young and Dan Carpenter called Monday Night Live Chat. And Monday night we went over a topic that I like about introverts and extroverts, and I kind of led the chat. And I know it's not the typical DJ subject that you're used to, but I think it was a good night and some good information there. If you get a chance, go check it out on demand. It's introvert versus extrovert. It's a Monday Night Chat live. I'm getting text while this is going on. So who else did I need? It's John Jazz. What's going on? How are you? Jason Gustafson, what's going on from Muskegon, Michigan? Thank you for joining in tonight. Appreciate that. One of the things that I'm going to be sharing tonight about virtual DJ that I think some of you are going to like, that I was talking to a friend on the phone prior to this thing, and he really kind of liked the idea of what they added. I haven't gotten into the full details of it, but I think that you guys are going to kind of like it, because I think it doesn't necessarily it's not something that I'm going to use, because you know I do things differently, but I think it's what pretty much everybody else is going to use, and I think you're going to like that. So a couple more minutes, saying hello to everybody, welcoming everybody in. We are on 11 of 12 places tonight. I don't know where we're not on tonight. We are on Twitch, several Facebook pages, several YouTube pages. We're on my Facebook page. Oh, that's the one we're not on. We're not. We didn't go to my Facebook page for some reason. So that's the 11 out of 12. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we're just about ready to start into some of the stuff. I hope everybody's having a good week. Summer's over, fall's now, daylight savings. Hope everything's going well, gigs and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how the rest of the country's going for lockdowns and stuff like that. It's getting weird again, but what are we gonna do? It's out of our hands. All right, couple more hellos, and then we're moving on to the topics of the night. And then you guys can ask questions. Hold on to your questions for just a little bit. I do have the decks open tonight. So if you guys have a mixing question, the decks are here. I don't, obviously I'm not on my full deck, but I'm on the little SP3 tonight. I got this a while back for just doing stuff like this, teaching DJ classes and little things that I'll be able to just set up here on the desk and do some stuff with you guys. So if you want to see something there tonight, let me know. All right, so that's all the shout-outs and hellos we're going to get for tonight. All right, so the first two things I want to share tonight in virtual DJ that I think is kind of cool. One is for everybody, and I didn't even realize that I didn't have it on to its full potential. And I want to show it to you, but it's something that I think everybody should have turned on. And then the second thing is going to be something that I think everybody can use. So I'm going to switch screens now. All right, so we're over here in Virtual DJ, and we bring open the menu. And I'm going to zoom in on the menu. Move that over here. And if you go into the options section, and you're going to type in automatic database backup period. Now, this is something they've added recently. And if you look here, this is his number of days. I'm hovering over here, and you're going to read at the bottom. Number of days between each automatic database backup, 0 for no automatic database backup. So if you don't want to back up your stuff automatically, leave it at 0. If you want it once a week, put 7. If you want it every other day, put 2, however you want to do that. But when you pick that, one of the things you're going to have to do is pick where you're going to put it at. Where's it at? So database backup location is the other one you're going to look at, and you're going to have to fix a place to put it. All I did was in my virtual DJ folder with all the other information, I made a folder called backup. And what this does is it throws a backup of my entire database every single day that the computer's on. I mean, it's obviously not going to do it when the computer's off, but every day that the computer's on, it's going to do a backup of your database and hold it there. So if you ever like really goof up, you have multiple backups to go to if you want to. So I think that was kind of cool. I think it's important, you know, like I said, to put it up there. I'm putting it up to every time because like if I make any changes, I want that database backed up. So that's one thing for you there. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about before we get into questions is something that, like I said, I don't use it a lot, but a lot of you guys do. For those who use playlists, there really wasn't up to this point a way to search your playlist. You could go into a playlist and search for songs, but if you wanted to search for a specific playlist, there wasn't necessarily an easy way to do that. Now they do, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so over here, this is the stock virtual DJ skin, and there's buttons here, and I'm going to be using these as dummy buttons, but these are custom buttons that you can do whatever you want to with and make any sort of thing on there, auto mix or whatever you want to do, and you just pick one of those. And when you right-click on it, it lets you edit it. So what I did was picked search. Let me zoom in so you can see that. Boom. Search _ folder. So this means that when I click this button now, it's going to bring up a separate search box that lets me search for just folders. And that includes crates, smart crates, filter folders, anything. So with that there now, and we click on it, brings up the separate one there, and I know one of the ones that I did was I Love Kickboxing. So those are all the playlists that I did from I Love Kickboxing, and if I wanted the I Love Kickboxing 80s, and I go 80s, and that then would take me to one of those things. Right there, it just opened up over here. Oops, the full screen's not there. When I clicked on that, it opened it up right there. So that's all you have to do is go in there. So like if I did another one here that is for Thunderbirds, so that is the sports team that I DJ for. Click on it, and it opens up the playlist right there. So I think that's kind of neat that you're able to do that searching just for folders, playlists, or anything like that. Those are all in the playlists, and I thought that was kind of cool. But again, these any programmable button you want, you can do with these things is endless. But you right-click on it, and then it's search _ folder, and that creates that for that. So those are my two that I've added tonight. And I hope you guys like them. And the rest of the time, we're just going to take some questions about anything virtual DJ, mixing-wise, whatever, shows we do, other stuff I have going on. DJ, I'm going to say this wrong. Opanka is watching from Ghana. Thank you so much for tuning in. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. Sorry, I'm a little back and forth tonight trying to watch the chat and everything. But it's open question night, whatever you want to do about Virtual DJ. They've been adding some simple things. You can ask about stuff that I've done. Also keep in mind that on the 15th, next Monday, Virtual DJ is having its, the once a month, they do this little seminar expo thing. I don't know really what John calls it. I keep forgetting. And each month is topicked for different things. And this month, it's about gear. And I'm doing a 25-minute talk on MIDI mapping, and we're going to talk a little bit about stuff like that and how to MIDI map stuff like that. It's going to be basic. It's not going to be crazy and long detailed, but tune in next Monday. I don't know what my time slot is because there's like 5 or 6 people throughout the whole night doing different talks on gear because this is gear themed. Last month was wedding themed, I think, yeah, which I have I have experience with, but I don't do weddings, so you know. That one I didn't join in on. So, all right, so we have some questions. Script Guru says, any idea on uses for HTTP in Virtual DJ that went public recently? I've been working on Virtual DJ plugin to HTTP out to another machine also running virtual DJ. Be more specific about that question, because are you talking about working from some sort of cloud list? Is that what you mean by that? Be more be more a little bit more detailed if you could in the question here. Sean Denard, what's going on, Sean? Hey, thank you for joining in. Ask, is there a way to isolate stems with a cluck of the controller? And I'm not sure. I think you mean click. I don't know. One of the easiest ways to do that is, and let me see if I can find some music here with words in it that we're not going to get busted for copyright stuff. I think this one has music in it that we can do. All right, so that one is a copyright-free one that we can't play and do stuff with. Somebody said they lost my vocals on Facebook. I don't know. Is everybody else hearing me? Let me know. All right, so we're going to do the one about taking out vocals. So there's a couple things you can do. You're talking remote access to virtual DJ. Are you talking about having virtual DJ on another machine and running DJing at that place from another place? Is that what you're talking about? Because I'm not sure. If that's what you're talking about, I can't even imagine someone wanting to do that. So you're going to have to be detailed why. Yeah, Sean says click. So while you're answering that, I'm going to get to Sean's about isolating. And there's a couple different ways to do that. So we do the deck cam. Okay, so on a 4-deck system with virtual and stems, these over your channels would be your high, low, mid, okay, and gain. But we're going to go high, low, mid. And the outer two would be for controlling the stems, okay? So there's a way to set that up in there that these are your stem controls on a 4-deck. I have it set up to where they're here. So right now, this is still bass, because I've isolated that as a bass when I want that one as my bass, but I don't use high, low, mid all that often in mixing, but it's just easy to pull the words out. So you can hear his voice back there. I'm going to turn this. Isolate the vocals. Remove the vocals. Drums and vocals isolated. That's one way to do it. The other way is, and this is going to be difficult because I don't even know if I have it set up on here. All right, so we're going to go back to here. And over here, in this drop down right here, you're going to give you choices to different pad selections. Okay, so keep that in mind. These are pad selections. But you can split pads to where I can click this here. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Click split pads and hold on here. Pads, custom audio. There we go. So now if we zoom in on that, move this over, you now have split cues of hot cue points and effects. So in this choice of split cues, so that means that this pad right here, these are hot cues and these are effects because that's split up on virtual. So we're going to go back up to virtual. And you can do that same thing, but in the split menu, you can choose stems. So now the top row is hot cues and the bottom is isolating or removing of the sound. So it's if you hit the button, it's remove. If you shift hit the button, it then isolates. So we're going to go back here and I'm going to switch down to here. Deck cam. Okay, so I'm playing. Hot cue. Isolate vocals. Oh, that didn't split on there. Sorry. All right. So it is that way up on the screen. So let me switch back here. So that's isolate. And if you hit the shift, That isolates. That removes, shift, and that isolates. So there's two different ways there that you can do that. And I think if that's what you were talking about, triggering them on the pads via down here, it's not doing it on this one for some reason. I don't know if I've set this controller up with virtual right now to do the split pads correctly, but I know on my 7000 I have them split because on one of the places that I DJ, I have to use their 1000 SRT, and the way I DJ there is that I run the hot cues on top and my effects like echo out on the bottom, so I don't have to keep switching screens and different things. So if I want to echo, I'm just going to hit the echo. If I want a cue point, I hit the cue point. So you can set those up to do pretty much anything you want to do in these hot cues. I like to use them by doing the high-low mids on 4th channel, or you can set them up like this one is, set up on channel 1 and 2, and you can switch that back and forth, or you can trigger them from down here in the stems, whether you do by a split, where it's hot cues and stems, or you can just pick the entire thing. So if I go back up here and just pick, I don't want split, I want stop it. Oh, so this one doesn't allow you to do that. So yeah, so it would be stems up on the thing, and then all of those would be stem controls. So hope that answered your question there. Let me look back here. Mike says that I'm freezing. Am I only freezing on Facebook or everywhere else? Am I good on YouTube? Let me know. Back to here. So going down into questions, is there a way on YouTube? I want to go back to what's his name's question about again, when you're asking, I want to see if you ask the question more. When you're asking me about virtual access for DJing, are you asking that or just to get to it? Again, the way I'm reading what you're saying is that I'm here and I have a laptop somewhere else with Virtual DJ plugged in, it hooked up to a controller, and I want to press play from here to make that laptop play. Is that what you're talking about, doing remote access? Let me know if that's what you mean. Moving down there. Jeff says I'm buffering. Am I good now? Am I better? I think I'm good on everything. I don't know. Let me know. Is there a way to set parameters for auto gain? It tends to recline when I use it. Jeff, do you use auto gain and remember? Is that what you're talking about, or what are you doing there? Because there's a way. I never ever when I'm DJing touch the gain knobs. Never ever. I use auto gain and remember in virtual, and it pretty much normalizes every single song live. But if I want to change something, I can per song, and then it will remember it on that song. So is that what you're talking about, setting the parameters? Moving on down here. Guy says he can't set his pads to trigger stems. Some controllers you have to go in and do something special, like I showed you here on this one. Virtual DJ zoomed. In the drop downs of these, I do not have, I'm trying to get it to skip that, I don't have a stems choice with the SB3. Stop it. They don't give me that. So I can't do the whole thing as stems on this controller unless I did some sort of MIDI mapping or something. Not all controllers can do that, so keep that in mind. That could be why you can't get the stems down there, but there should be a setting, if I'm correct. Here, hold on. So let me go back to non-split. I'm going hot cues. All right, give me back here. I just want hot cues. I want to get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? All right, so we now have just hot cues listed here. And some of them, some controllers, one of these sets it into stem mode. And I don't think this one does, if I'm correct. There's the scratch. No, that's the sampler deck does. So check some of these on yours, because right now, if I play this and switch to this, this now is my stem. So this will vocal. Isolate the vocal.
Nobody I know but the pain.
So some of those are in the top row. So check that, Gus, and see if that's what you're talking about there. So it's in with this, and I may have put that there. I'm not sure, but most of them does it in correlation with the sample button, because I know that's how it was in virtual on its stock MIDI mapping. So that should bring these pads up to run your stem, so you can just jump back and forth from hotkey to that. Hope that. Sorry if that was confusing for you there. Look here now. Questions. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it for tuning in. It's a little bit confusing tonight. I'm bouncing back and forth between a lot of things there. I run Nubark NV. It works great for 30 to 90 minutes. Then no apparent reason the audio becomes garbled. That sounds like a sound card issue. That has nothing to do with gains. That has to do with possibly the sound card on that controller is going bad, or the cord between the two is going bad, and as it heats up, it does not make proper connection. That is not a virtual DJ thing. So when you run it that long, that's a heat issue. So either the heat in the deck's sound card is going, or the USB cord, as it heats up, is disconnecting somehow and not making a perfect connection. So start with those first off. Steven says, I have a Prime 4 and the effects on top each channel. There are 1-2 buttons. What is the command to assign an effect bank to a specific button? So if I'm getting this right in your question, you want to hit one of these 3 buttons here and kick a different bank off down here. Is that what you're talking about? Because the banks are here. So you want to trigger this to kick off a bank. Is that what you're saying? So we'll get back to that in a second here. So Sean, you're talking about isolate vocals with a lap. See, try to be specific in your questions, because that's what we're bouncing around a lot tonight with me not understanding the question. Sean, are you talking about laptop keypad to isolate vocals? Like that. Moving on down here. For instance, if I want only vocals, I have to eliminate everything else one at a time. No, it's the on these, it's the shift. It's opposite. So if I'm playing down here, and I go to here, that pulls the vocal, and I hit shift, and then that, it isolates the vocal. So each one of these is remove, isolate. I have something out there for reading. Wait, why is that out? There we go. I was doing too many things there. All right, we're back there. That's how you isolate those, but I want to know if you're talking about on your keyboard or that, because there's a big difference between the two. Alacar, what are you asking me about tutorials to set up what? Another machine, but not for sound, really, more for automated radio. Not that I know of. I think I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to do an autoplay from somewhere else, but yet still be able to control what songs you pick for that. I would have no idea how that works. I'm guessing it would work like any other program, that you just have the program running and leave that to where it can be remoted, and you would just remote like you normally remote, dragging, dropping songs, play, all that kind of stuff. That should work normally. If it doesn't, I'm not sure the settings on that, because I've never heard of anybody wanting to remote autoplay in a DJ program before. So I'm guessing that you should be able to just control it normally like that, but I'm not sure. Jeff says red line. Still not sure what you mean there. Good now. Blame Comcast. Remember, your chat things, you're hearing my words way after I say them. So if you're going to clarify a question, please let me know what you're clarifying, because I'm losing some of the things tonight. Sean got that. How can you turn off the tall on effects virtual? I have a Rain 72. How can you turn off the tall on effects? I'm not sure. Joe, please ask that question different. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm sorry that I'm not understanding your questions clearly tonight. I think there's a disconnect here somehow. Be very specific. Pretend I don't know anything and ask me the question that way. I do want to thank everybody for watching here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Can you do a podcast on Virtual DJ? Now, again, you have to be more specific. Are you recording it? Are you asking me, can you record it? Or are you asking me, can you do a live podcast? And then I have to ask, is it going to be video or audio? Audio only or video and audio, I guess, would be the more specific way there. Script Guru Tail. Please ask the whole question in more detail, please. Sounds like he would have to do a desktop remote from one PC to another laptop. Yeah, Mikey Mike, I think it should work the same, that whatever programs that you have on a computer, you should be able to remote to them from another computer and operate them. I don't see why not. Because Virtual is just a program like anything else, so there shouldn't be any reason that if you needed to do that remote, that you shouldn't be able to control that computer remotely and do all the things that you would do if you were there sitting in front of it. More questions on my phone tonight. I forgot to silence that. Trying to pick up Script Guru's question because he's asking it in parts, and I can't re-ask the whole question there again because yours are. I'm not sure what you mean by the tail feature. What is a tail feature on an effect? I don't even know what that is. All right, so audio only as recorded. That's really easy to do a recorder one. We're going to do the podcast one here next. So we're going to go to left screen. In Virtual DJ, you're going to go here up to your sub menu and then go down to record. And then here, let me zoom in. You would pick where you want to record your stuff. And that includes it can record vocals depending on if you have a microphone set up here for an in channel. Right now I have no in channels, only outputs. But in the recording, you would do your whole recording, pick the format that you want to do the recording in, and then start recording. And that's the same way that if you go to my my internet page and look at some of the live mixes that I have there, anything on there that's recorded live was recorded this way by just hitting record. Going back up here, I hope that helped your question. Okay, next one down here is how do you set up your TGE stems aisles when you showed earlier? I'm having trouble understanding people now. I really apologize. How do you set up the stems something? I'll try to type that again. Randy asked me about the logos that I put on my deck. There is 3 or 4 videos. If you go to Disc Jockey News' YouTube page, youtube.com/Disc Jockey News, and type in there Virtual DJ, I think it's skins. I have a couple different videos that show how to put it in there. So take a look for that. Because it's actually, for some people, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of long. If we have time tonight, I might go into it. But I'm trying to get... some of the other questions here. I'm Jerome. Are you asking about that? Again, some of these questions, be really detailed in the questions because they're not all making sense to me, and I apologize about that. Are you talking about like that moving up and down when you move your fader? Is that what you're talking about? Or the cross fader? When I'm right here in this? Is that what you're talking about? Script Guru is talking about a trailing echo. Well, you can adjust every single thing in each effect easily. So if I'm here on this right here, so these, where's my effects at? Right here. So here's an echo, and if I put the down arrow on the echo, right in here on the right side, there's little gears. So I can go to the echo, hit that little gear, and then that is going to bring this up over here, and see if I can zoom in on that. And then this is going to give me all my settings for each effect. And I can change the length, how aggressive it is, whether it's a high-low pass, whether it's muted, the trailing stop, you know, like if you want it to stop. All of these are here, and every single one of these effects, every one of these effects that you can pick all have adjustments by hitting the little gear on the side. So like your delay, hit the gear, and it puts it down here, and it's per deck. So this is only affecting deck 2. So I'm setting the deck 2 up that. So if I go to the opposite side and do the drop down on the echo and hit the cog on the left deck, now you're seeing how you want the left deck set up and how you want the right deck set up. And every single effect is set that way manually. A lot of them you can do with the parameters if your controller has knobs up here to move the parameters. Oops. You can do that. Like my 7000 has ones for each of those, so I can pick an effect like an echo, and then it's going to give me length of delay, aggressiveness, and whatever that those knobs I can use manually, physically, but manually within the program. That's how you do it within the program. All right, back to questions here. Hope I answered that question there. Moving on down, there will be some upgrade to Auto Mix to Virtual DJ 2022. I have no idea on that. I've not heard any updates, but Virtual is really solid on updating constantly. So I have no doubt that they have stuff in the hopper, as some people say, ready to come out. I don't know what it is. I don't ever use Auto Mix, so I don't even know like what its limitations are or anything like that. Hope that helps. Have you added more shader visualization for audio track only tracks? I basically run them all the time, and I don't think they're set up here on this one, but I have it set so anytime I get to an MP3, it kicks on the visualization for the shaders and runs those for a certain amount of time, because you can set how long they run, and it rotates. That's what mine's set up on right now. So anytime that I get an audio track, it kicks those on. MR says, place stems on different buttons like you showed earlier. Isolate stems on the top buttons. Oh, you're talking about doing a MIDI mapping of stems. I've never done that, but I'm absolutely sure you can. It would be something like this, and this is going to be a very roundabout way to do it. So if I open this up and go to mapping, and if I hit a button on my controller, it's going to tell me right here what that button is. So if I hit this, it's going to be called FX1_on. So you would go over here and go FX1_on, and this right now is what that is. So if I wanted to change that to isolate vocals, I would have to find out what this is right here. And again, I'm not sure if it's in here. That's the thing with Virtual. A lot of this stuff has been automated, where before you had to do a lot of it by hand, but now a lot of it's automated. So if there is a thing in here, or you can find it via the Virtual DJ forums, and it would be something like active_isolate vocal effect_stems isolate vocal or something like that. So that would be when you would hit that button, that this is what it would act, because we hit the button and it showed us this. We came down here. This is the program that it is right now, what it does. So you can change any button to do anything, and that would include, if you had the right codes for the audio, isolate stems. And I think you would do it by hitting audio here. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to, well, we'll play around here a second. Copy that. So audio, volume, scratch, control, pitch, sampler. So there's got to be something in here that you can put that in. Inputs. There's got to be one there that does that. And that's what you would do. You would find that, hit that, pardon me, and then hit save up here, and then that would save that. So that's how you would do that. Going back here to some questions. You're welcome, Joe. Using the MC6000 MK2 with Virtual DJ 8, and it keeps freezing on my laptop. Does that mean that the software is no longer compatible? Pardon me. That's something caught there. It should work. Everything should be fine. If it's freezing, that's a software issue. I'm guessing that maybe you don't have enough RAM, or there's something else running in the background. I know a lot of people have background stuff that they've had problems with. I'm not even on the screen, am I? I know a lot of people had issues with stuff running in the background that they didn't know. John's son was doing it for a while where he had the Google Drive backup, and it was running in the background the whole time. So anytime he played a song, it puts that into the database of history, and then Google is backing that up because it's a changed file. Next song he played, it would put it in the history. Google would look at that and go, hey, that's a new file. Back it up. So look for things like that, but there's definitely no problems. Again, also check chords. Start with the simple stuff. Check chords. But you definitely, everything should still be working on that. So are you running 8, Earl? Or are you running the new 2021 Summer Edition? Because right now we're on 2021 SE Summer Edition. 8, if you're just running plain 8, that was like 4 versions ago. So that could, I don't know if that's an issue or not, but if you've not done the update constantly as it goes along, you might want to consider that maybe. I do not know, Mikey Mike, when the new update is coming out. I've not heard anything, but there in the past their pattern was around this time of year, November-ish. But because they'll release like 2022 this fall, for next year they'll release it like Cars. They release it that fall. So November is their norm for doing the next update, and I've not heard anything on it yet at all. I'm referring to the track pitch bend. When you load a track while mixing, most of the time the controller you have to slide it back in position. Oh, you're talking about ghosting. All right, so that is a setting, and you can do that how you want. And that's a good question, because a lot of people have it the way you're talking about and don't want it that way. I want it the way you have it. So I'm going to do left screen zoomed. So I want to look at, all right, so this is right here in the center screen. I'm moving my pitch fader up and down, and that takes the pitch of the song up and down. But if I load another song over here, let me pick something that's close to that. So I'm loading one on this deck, and then if I hit the I'm going to take this off a little bit further so it's more dramatic. This one's off. So if I hit the sync button, it's going to move this one to match this one. So I'm going to hit that now. So my physical button has not moved, but it's moved here. And if I want to pick that up right now, the left deck is working in what's called master slave. So right now, the program is the master of where the tempo is. And for me to get that back, I have to go here to make my physical fader match it, and then it grabs that, and then the physical knob becomes the master of that. That is done via an automated thing in here, which is it's under pitch, and it is a smart limit pitch range and reset pitch on load. So a lot of times what it's going to do is it's going to master out on what it is instead of keeping it exactly wherever the pitch is. So if you want the manual pitch to where the computer never, ever, ever takes over, you would go into here. Let me see if I get the right one here. It is a setting here that turns off. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to turn off the sync moving it, so you physically have to move the button. Now mine is set up to where if I have this off, right here you have it off, and I'm going to load another song, it will zero it out. So in that So it's going to reset pitch on load, because that's what I have it set right there. So that means every time I throw a song, it's going to take that pitch back to 0, even though you can see my little ghost line above it. That's where the physical fader is. So if you're going back and forth between them, you have to remember that. Like I said, there is a setting on here that it does not do anything unless you physically move it. So you can have the choice where you either physically move the pitch fader and nothing else, or you can have the master slave like this. So I'm hoping that that helped. Jeff said, I started using a new PC with 16 GB RAM, 15 GB processor with 4 terabytes internal SSD. After playing for a while, I was getting a crackle sound. Also running sound switch. I checked the CPU and checked if it was okay, blah, blah, blah. Freezing up at weddings. I have since gone back to trusty Toshiba. First off, I'm going to tell you it's probably drivers that are given that, because there shouldn't be an issue, because I run it on 3 different computers and I don't have an issue. One of the things you have to watch, though, that I have found in the audio interface is that you have your choice, what I call Wasabi. These are the drivers, the Windows. Or you have the ASIO. ASIO has pretty much been discontinued. And I found when I went from the old 32-bit virtual DJ using ASIO and went to the 64-bit virtual DJ on a 64-bit computer, this was peaking out and crackling horribly until I just switched to the Wasabi. This is Windows. It's Windows Audio, Sound, and something, but I just call it Wasabi. Try switching to the Wasabi audio driver and see if that makes a difference, because I know when I play around with the SRT, it fights, and I mean fights, the ASIO drivers bad. So that would be my first thing to tell you, is go and look and see what's what on those. It fights it bad, and I don't know. I actually wanted to sit down with Ben Stowe and ask him about 64-bit programs on a 64-bit computer and how that ASIOs and the Wasabi drivers make a difference, because I don't understand why there is such a dramatic difference in both of those. So that would be the first thing I would tell you to do, is switch over and see if that. Always start with the simple things that don't cost you money, that don't take time. Start with drivers like that. Something you can simply do, you can uninstall virtual and reinstall it, and that doesn't change your settings or your database or anything. Sometimes just doing that will help it run proper again. Start with the simple things, and I always tell people, check cords, because I can't tell you how many times people have had problems with it, and I go, did you switch cords? They switch USB cords, and everything's fine. So start with the simple things that don't take time or effort or money. Start with those. Hope that helps. Does Virtual E ever run a sale for Infinity license? I've seen them run them, but it is so far between. Your best bet also is to look at Good Friday. They might run something on Good Friday. I know for a fact Serato does, so if you're watching the show tonight and you don't like Virtual and you like Serato, keep an eye out on Serato for Black Friday. They usually do that same with Record Box. But that would be the only thing I could tell you. I've not seen Virtual do very many sales on that. But keep in mind, and I always tell people this, I have a friend of mine, he's like, well, Serato's cheaper, but when you buy Virtual, you get everything, and you have it forever. I paid for my license in 2009 or 10, whatever it was, and I've never had to pay another thing. Serato, everything they come out new with, they charge you for. So if you get all the things that Serato has, like I have all the things that Virtual has, it costs you more to do that in Serato than it does to pay for the whole thing in Virtual. So keep that in mind. But I don't know about any sales. If you need to put audio mix on, can you have it play the next song on its first hot cue? You can choose in 2 different ways, audio mixing, or you do, and I did a video of this when they put it in the program originally, but it is event scheduler, and you can do stuff by putting events in there, song 1 in the list, play for this many seconds, etc. It's a little bit detailed, but you can literally make it do whatever you want, however you want. So that kind of thing is kind of detailed. If you really, really need it to jump to a certain point, I would say just edit the song externally and put that in there as your edit. Mark it as that. Have different edits for different things like that. Is there a way to use a DJ Scratch mixer with a Rain MK2 CD player and Denon SC5000 as decks. Hold on here. Is there a way to use a DJ Scratch mixer? That's the little mixer. I don't want to call it little, but it's the little one. A Rain MK2 CD player and a Denon SC5000. I have no idea if those technologies are even intermingled, because you got to understand that certain decks, the way they do this, let me get me back on the full screen. If you're running, like, let's say the Rain 72s, it's going to read it as one MIDI player and one MIDI player. So if you're setting that up, you might need to have that set up as, I don't even know if the Scratch has a USB plug in it or not. So if it does, you have to have the mixer MIDI'd properly. And then you have to have the Virtual SC MIDI'd properly. And then you have to have the Rain MK2 CD player mapped properly. So you're basically going to be running 3 different MIDI maps, and that's going to get really confusing quick. So I would not even have any idea about putting those 3 together. If I were you and you needed to do something, I don't know what I would do about those 3. I haven't touched a CD in over a decade, so I can't help much with that. All right, so yes, Script Guru, thank you for helping out there. Again, I apologize. I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding questions tonight. Thank you for so much, everyone, for helping out in the chat and all that. Yeah, so I think what you're doing, instant versus pickup or gradual. Sorry. There is a way to do that. Mine was just master slave. You're talking about how it picks up on an automated thing. I apologize. Is there a tutorial on how to optimize my Mac to use Virtual DJ? You shouldn't have to, but there are plugins in Virtual DJ for if they're still there. I don't know if they still are. So let me go here, and we're going to go into the menu, and then we're going to go down here to extensions, and this is where you can download stuff. So it would be other. I'm guessing it would be let me see here. There should be an optimize something here. Is it pads, others, online sources? There's one here that helps optimize your computer, and I haven't used it in a long time because I really don't need one. But they have a program that is supposed to help, and I don't even know if that works on Mac or not. I've never seen that one used on Mac before. Here we go. So here's the libraries in different languages. That's not it. Database filters, no. No custom mapping, language pads, samples, other. Somewhere on their site, you can go and find the optimizer. And like I said, I haven't looked at it in forever. Hold on here. And we're going to go to virtual. And we're going to go to downloads. Start here. Because sometimes you can find stuff easier on here. Let me see here. I'm probably taking up too much time just looking for it, but I don't even know. New PC Optimizer, and that's for PC and PC Optimizer. So the two that they have are for PC. They are not for Mac. I apologize. I had a feeling they were PC only. But what it does is it helps you find settings and things that are running and stuff like that, but it's not for that. I apologize. The beat threshold for, I think we're doing right here. We're almost out of time here. Sorry, CFX. I found that funny. Moving on. The effects that you're talking about are in how you have the backspin per beats. Now, I've set it up, but I can't remember how I set it up. It is in, because you can have it set to go so many beats. And I know on the other computer, I have the backspin set to go 2.5 beats back. So 1, 2, and out. 1, 2, and. That's what it would be. 1, 2, and. But you can set that in the program, and I think it is in, I'm I'm going to have trouble finding it here. You set your links there, but the other one is in actual... It is in somewhere here on mapping. And that's where I put the backspin there. And I don't know what it is on here because it's on the other mapping. See if it's on my custom 7000 here. So we're going to go Denon 7000. And we should have mine in there. Where's it at? Denon 1000. It's my custom mapping. So we are now looking for one in here that's going to say backspin, and that is effects, select on, break, hold on here. It's in one of these is where you would put that, and I don't remember which one it is, but you would have the effect like that. That would be your line. Let me zoom in, sorry. And you would have, for beat, so many. There it is. Backspin. You would find the button that you want to trigger that backspin. And then you put backspin, and mine is set at 2.5 beats. So that means if I hit that button on my Denon, it will do the backspin for 2.5 beats. So it's going to be 1, 2, and then the trail is that half a beat. 1 and 2 and stop. So that's how you do that there. Sorry it took me so long on that one. It's been a while since I've done that one. The way to connect a laptop audio mic and device audios at the same time. Let me read that again. Is there a way to connect the laptop audio mic and the device audio mic at the same time? Ooh, you might have to do a little bit of trickiness in there. So if we go back here to interface audio, you can add stuff here. So we can add, we would have to choose speaker in or out. I'm not going to change it now, but you would do in or out, and then you would, on the out, where's it at? Microphone inputs. So you would have to add multiple inputs. There's one, then you would choose whatever the mic you want it to come in on. Then you would add a second microphone and do where the second microphone is. So you should be able to, because it's going to read different cards. So one of them is going to be your controller's audio card. One of them is going to be the computer's audio card, and you should be able to run both mics in through that. Theoretically. That worked. You should not be able to need to download the Wasabi drivers. They should be automatic. No, I don't want to save this. They should be automatic in there. If they're not, I don't know what to tell you. They should be in there. I have an issue with Virtual DJ. Stop communicating with my external drives. Is that a known bug? I have to restart Virtual DJ. Okay, first off, anybody is looking for general advice in stuff. Is it a continuing issue? I don't know that there's any real big continuing issues with Virtual now. Your external drives, first I would ask, are they SD or just regular hard drives? Because you can have hard drives spin down if they're not solid state drives to where they actually stop on their own so they don't heat. And there are also things that you can add to your computer so that the hard drives that are not solid state drives will not spin all the way down and stop. There should be no reason unless your computer has a sleep mode on external drives. So it's not virtual. Your computer might have a sleep mode on peripherals plugged in to save battery life. So you would look in your computer for stuff like that. Look at your brand, do some search online about if it has sleep mode. That's to save battery life. So if you have a hard drive plugged in for a while, it will shut that hard drive off completely if it's not spun and used all the time. That's about the best I could tell you there. Lots of questions here. Somebody did tell me they were having title issues because someone here asked about that there's title songs that are freezing, that they were having title issues both on Serato and Virtual. So that can be, I think it's a title thing because I had a friend who was trying to use title on Serato a couple weeks ago and he was having all kinds of problems with it. So I've not used title on here since I've tested it, but I'm guessing if he had that problem and you're having that problem, it's a title issue right now. And that can be something that they may be working out. I'm not sure. But that would be my guess from just my kind of information there. Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. everyone, yeah, time's almost out. And you guys asked so many questions. We have so many people watching. I love this. I really appreciate you guys tuning into the show because I feel that when I do these shows, it is just me rambling endlessly. And I don't even know if I make sense because I'm trying to get to everybody's questions. And some of them, the answer might not be in my mind, and I might have to dig, like the whole backspin distance thing, which like I said, I knew I had it, and I knew I had programmed it for the 7000, so I had to dig a little bit. So we tend to get a little disconnected with this, and I apologize for that, and thank you for sticking through on that. Like I said, we're almost out of time. I believe there's another recording going on tonight for Howie. If someone can drop that in the Robin, yes, drop that in the thing there if you can. If you want to join him over there on the Insiders thing where you guys can hang out and talk for the first few minutes when they record. You have to have your camera and mic off, and afterwards you can just hang out there for as long as you want and be a part of a cool little community. They're a great bunch of people over there, and I really appreciate all the stuff that they do for our community, and I appreciate that. If you have any more questions, hit me up. I'll try to put them into the show next time and different things like that. I will definitely be the first to let you know if Virtual does any new stuff like that coming out. I'm guessing they would, so I love this program as much as you guys do, and I don't always get to dive in it as far as I want because I'm working on other things. And I'm still working on a book, and I finally think I got my the book cover done. Someone asked about Beat Source. Yes, you can play Beat Source off of Virtual. You can play Beat Source Link, Beat Port Link, Tidal, SoundCloud, Deezer, Digitrax, VJ Pro, iDJ Pool, and you can play off of any Google Cloud Drive that now is done in G Drive. Those can also be played directly from Virtual without leaving it. So with that said, I thank you guys for hanging out. My brain's going so freaking fast right now. Next time I'll be on is next Monday night with the MIDI mapping thing on the Monday night special thing. And then we'll go from there. But thank you guys. You're so freaking awesome for hanging out. Howie, Hanging with Howie's next. Yes, so make sure you check all that out. There it is. 10 p.m. on Mondays. But you can still go to the chill room and hang out and all that kind of stuff. So until next time, as always, I want to encourage you. We're going into the fall season. Holidays, for some people, holidays are the best. Other people, holidays are the absolute freaking worst. Check up on your friends. Say, hey, how are you doing this holiday season? Because they're not going to be mad at you for checking up on them. They might appreciate it. So look out for each other. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other. God bless.